So I just planted a fresh tray of microgreens this morning: broccoli, red cabbage and kale. Broccoli is probably my favorite. It's mild, it grows fast, and it does really well even when the weather's all over the place. I like doing a tray or two probably every week or so. They're one of those things you can rely on when really nothing else is happening. Microgreens are such a great stand-in. You can pick them fresh, they taste great, and they really don't take up much room at all. I sometimes add a few leaves of kangkong or sweet potato if I want to bulk it up into more of a salad. So I'm using trays from Bootstrap Farmer. They're really solid, so they're not the kind that sort of crack after a few uses. And they're also made in the US, which I really prefer over the cheap ones that you find everywhere now. So I've been using these ones for quite a while now, and they've held up really well. So before filling the microgreens trays, I give them a really good clean. I wash them in warm soapy water and then spray them with 70% isopropyl alcohol and then wipe them down with a paper towel. You can skip this, but especially in hot or humid weather, it really helps to keep mold and fungus away. So once a tray gets hit with that, the whole thing's usually a write-off. For the growing medium, I'm just using plain coco coir from a block. I like to use that because it's clean, it holds moisture well, and I've had much fewer problems with diseases or random weed seeds popping up compared to using, potting mix in trays like this. So I just crumble it up with my hands so there are no big lumps, and then I fill the tray right to the top. Once it's in, I use a pressure sprayer to give it a really good soak. You want the whole thing evenly damp, not just the surface. So this is the last time I water from the top. Once the seeds sprout, and even while they're sprouting, it's bottom watering only. So I weigh my seeds out. I do about 3.5 to 4 grams per tray. That gives a really nice thick coverage without them getting too crowded. I just sprinkle them evenly across the surface, press them in gently, and then give them another light spray to settle them in. You don't want them swimming, but you do want enough for them to be moist and to help them stick. I like to cover the tray with a blackout lid. It's one of the Bootstrap ones again. It's tall, so it doesn't touch the seedlings, but the main thing is that it keeps the light out. The darkness seems to help the seedlings stretch out, and so you end up with long, straight stems, which is what you want with your microgreens. Plus, seedlings grown in the dark convert their stored starches into simple sugars, so they can often taste a bit sweeter than the ones exposed to light straight away. So don't leave that lid out in full sun, it'll warp. I actually found that out the hard way. Keep it under cover or somewhere shady. So your microgreens usually start sprouting by the next morning, but I like to leave the blackout lid on for another 2 to 3 days until they're ready to face the light. So then the lid comes off and the tray goes into a bright, sheltered spot. Once they're up, I water from the bottom only. I don't use a second tray. I just pour water straight into the bottom tray that the microgreen tray sits in. I like to keep them pretty wet. The coir holds the moisture well and the roots can reach down into it. No spraying from above. It keeps the leaves dry and healthy, and it really helps to avoid fungus or damping off, especially when the weather's humid. They're usually ready to harvest in about a week. I like to just snip off what I need with scissors each day, straight into your wraps or onto a sandwich, in your salad, whatever's going. You can also harvest the whole thing at once. You can keep them in the fridge. Just make sure you put them on some paper towel or something like that. Yeah, I really prefer them fresh, and they keep going for days if you only cut a little bit at a time. So microgreens, super quick, they're easy to grow, and they've saved a lot of meals when everything else in the garden is either bolting or being eaten by something. So if you haven't tried growing microgreens yet, give it a go. It's super simple. It's a great little routine. Kids love doing it, and they're just so nutritious and easy. It's really well worth it. So hopefully I've inspired you to grow some of your own microgreens as well. And let me know in the comments if you're keen to try it, or even if you're already doing it. And thank you very, very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.